What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, we're going to talk about teams that could join the Cup Series in 2024 or in the near future. Over the last year or so, there's been a lot of teams that have been speculated and rumored that could jump up to the Cup Series. As the price of charters have skyrocketed, though, those talks have kind of stopped. But today, we're going to talk about teams who have been in discussions that have been talks about potentially either coming back in the Cup Series or jumping into NASCAR in the near future. So anyways, let's jump into it. The first team that could jump up to the Cup Series in 2024 and the most likely to jump up to the Cup Series in the near future is Junior Motorsports. Now, it's no secret that Junior Motorsports has been trying to acquire a charter, and Dale Jr., Kelly Earnhardt Miller have been trying to acquire a charter for Junior Motorsports to jump up the Cup Series ever since the 2021 season. We first started hearing indications, rumors, back when Josh Berry won his first career NASCAR Xfinity Series race in that number 8 car, and Dale Jr. has said publicly that he was looking at trying to maybe get into the next-gen car and trying to get into the next-gen car and also getting up to the Cup Series. However, one of the things that has been holding back is the charter system. Charters have been a very, very big factor in Junior Motorsports not jumping up the Cup, as currently at the moment right now, charters are costing around $30 million, and those costs for charters could go up over time. However, I think that there is a very good chance and a possibility of Junior Motorsports making up the jump. So they do jump up the Cup Series. What teams could they acquire charter from? The first team is Spire Motorsports. Now, Spire Motorsports currently has two charters at the moment in the NASCAR Cup Series. Corey LaJoie drives the 7 car, which is a flagship car, and Ty Dillon drives the number 77 car. I think, especially with Dale Jr. and Junior Motorsports having aligned Spire Motorsports in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, I would have to imagine Junior Motorsports has probably been in discussions with Spire Motorsports about potentially a partnership, perhaps, since you have a partnership in the Xfinity Series, maybe acquiring that second charter so Junior team could jump up the Cup. The other team I could see is Rickware Racing. Rickware Racing obviously is a team that currently has 2 cars with some situations I'm not going to get into have happened. They have 2 cars at the moment, but I can see them downsize to 1 car operation and downsize to 1 charter car in 2023. If Junior Motorsports also able to acquire a charter, what drivers could they get? Well, I think there's a lot of options they can go with. The first driver is Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier currently drives full-time for Junior Motorsports in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He'd be an easy choice to go with. Plus, he's been in the Cup Series before, ran the Cup Series in full-time in 2014, 2015, and made a couple one-off starts in the past in 2016, and also most recently in 2022 at Talladega. The next driver is Matt DiBenedetto. Matt DiBenedetto is part of the Chevy camp currently at the moment right now, and also has a lot of Cup Series experience as well. Last race in the Cup Series on a full-time basis, of course, back in 2021 for the Wood brothers. Matt DiBenedetto has a lot of talent. I think he's a very underrated driver and could get the best out of equipment if he had the opportunity and the shot to drive that car. Next one I'll mention is Sam Mayer. While Sam Mayer has not made his Cup Series debut, he's part of the Junior Motorsports camp and does have some sponsorship and funding with him as well. The next driver I'll mention is Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones has a Menards backing. I think that could be a huge factor as well why we see Junior Motorsports make the jump up the Cup. I think Junior Motorsports for sure is the most likely team to jump up the Cup. Will they jump up in 2024? We don't know, but I think in the near future, Junior Motorsports, regardless whether it's 2024 or the next years, is going to make the jump up the Cup. The next team that could jump up to the Cup Series in 2024 is Niece Motorsports. Now, Niece Motorsports has been a team that's been rumored in the past, especially going back 2022, when Cody Efau, I believe, was interviewed by David Siegel at the time, where he was working with Front Stretch, and Cody Efau has stated that he wanted to make his team jump up to the Cup Series in the near future with Carson Osabar driving it. Now, obviously, Carson Osabar has a really strong chance of joining Junior Motorsports in 2024 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, has made select starts for Spire. But we know that Niece Motorsports made some indications and rumblings, and they're a team that I believe does have an alliance with some of the higher-up teams in the Xfinity Series and also the Cup Series as well. Now, something interesting to note that Niece Motorsports has attempted to make their NASCAR Xfinity Series debut back in 2016. But Niece Motorsports is a team that has been indicating. They've had some Cup drivers in their cars as well, in trucks I should say. Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez being the 2 main guys that they've had in their team. But Niece Motorsports, with them indicating there may be a chance, I could see them jumping up as early as 2024 or 2025. But I do not see Niece Motorsports going full-time. To be honest, I just see Niece Motorsports being a part-time team, very similar to a team like Beard Motorsports. I could see them starting off part-time. Maybe long-term, they make the decision to go ahead and go on a full-time basis, but I think right now the chances of them going full-time probably lacking unless they can acquire a charter. And charters right now are very, very expensive. If they were to acquire a charter, I would see Rick Ware or Spire giving up the charter to that team, but I think they're going to choose Junior Motorsports before they would go with a team like Nice Motorsports. But those guys have some experience. I think the crew chiefs of that team have had experience in the past as well. And personally, we could see Nice Motorsports make the jump up the Cup, but I think their chances are definitely lower, but we'll see if they decide to make the jump up the Cup. The third team that could jump up to the Cup Series in 2024 or in the near future is Kyle Busch Motorsports, also known as KBM. Now, Kyle Busch Motorsports or KBM has had some talks and conversations in the past about jumping up the Cup. As a matter of fact, as of 2 years ago, there were rumors and rumblings circulating about KBM maybe jumping up the Cup, but Kyle Busch at the time denied those rumors about making the jump up the Cup at the time. But they, like I said, were rumored to jump up. The biggest reason why KBM did not make that jump up in 2021 or 2022 for that matter is due to sponsorship and funding. KBM does have some partners with Chevy Camp, but before then, back in 2021, they had Toyota backing and Toyota sponsorship. They no longer have Toyota backing and Toyota sponsorship. Also, Kyle Busch is on a long-term deal with Thrift Racing long-term. So unless they find a way to bring Bex and Busch in there long-term, which won't be anytime soon, they ain't going to easily jump up the Cup. The other big thing that hurt KBM's chance of jumping up the Cup is a charter. Charters, like I said, are very, very expensive right now, and that's hurting KBM's chances. But do I see him jumping up long-term? Absolutely. I think in the next 5 and 10 years, Kyle Busch is going to own a Cup Series team. We obviously know that they tried to jump up the Xfinity, though, and let's be honest, the Xfinity Series team failed. I believe that KBM never won an Xfinity Series race back in 2013. Obviously, Kyle Busch had the 54 car, which was not Kyle Busch Motorsports. That was basically a car there. Actually, they did win an Xfinity with Kurt Busch, but that's the only guy that won with that team. Other than that, everyone else that drove that 54 car, including Kyle Busch, struggled in that 2012 season. But Kyle Busch, all across the board, even in the Truck Series, they struggled there. I think there is a chance that KBM does jump up the Cup, but it may be a little less. But I think that we could see them jump up the Cup in the near future. If it's not 2024, I think 2025 or 26 could be the earliest to jump up, but there's been no indications. But I think there is a chance, and there's some holding weight to those rumors of them potentially jumping up. We could see them jump up, but I think the chances are less than a team like Junior Motorsports or even Nice Motorsports making the jump up the Cup. The next team that could jump up to the Cup Series in 2024, join the Cup Series, is actually a former Cup Series team, and that is Chip Ganassi Racing. Now, Chip Ganassi Racing was in the NASCAR Cup Series from 2001 up until the end of 2021. They left at the end of 2021 when they sold all their assets and all their cars over to Trackhouse Racing. Of course, owned by Justin Marks, who was also a former driver of Chip Ganassi Racing at the time. Justin Marks had built Trackhouse, and they were expanding to a two-car operation in the 2023 season, 22 season, I should say. And they're going to have Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez. Ross Chastain, of course, who drove for Ganassi. Now, Chip Ganassi Racing had a lot of great drivers in their team. You had Sterling Marlin, you had Jay McMurray on that team, Casey Mears on that team, you had Kyle Larson. Like I said, you had those guys driving for him, and you also, of course, had Kurt Busch behind the wheel as well at Chip Ganassi Racing in those years. And, of course, Ross Chastain and even Matt Kenseth have got an opportunity to drive for Chip Ganassi. Now, Chip Ganassi was on a Dale Jr. down not too long ago, and he actually told Dale Jr. that he's not completely ruling out a return to coming back to NASCAR in the near future. I don't know if Chip Ganassi will come back in 2024. I think it'll be way too soon for his team to come back. But I think 2025 could be very, very possible of them coming back. Now, I think it would be more likely their IndyCar team that could come over, some of the guys from IndyCar, Scott Dixon maybe perhaps, or someone from the Xfinity Series, like somehow they get Brendan Poole to come back. Maybe they find a way to bring them back. I think Ganassi's team does have a very strong chance and a very strong possibility of making a return to Cup. I think it's decent. I think there's actually a really strong chance. And I think their second most likely team to make the jump up or back to the Cup Series. They had a lot of success. It's been a few years, but I don't think it'll be 2024. But I think if they do come back to NASCAR and they do join the Cup Series, it will be 2025 at the earliest. I think they're a team that does want to come back. They're a team that does want to return. And I think the chances are very, very high that Ganassi comes back. So I think they do return in the near future, but I don't think it's going to be at least for the next 2 years. It won't be 2024. The earliest I think it happens is 2025. The next team that could join the Cup Series in the coming years is Andretti Autosport. Now, Andretti Autosport is a team that currently competes in the IndyCar Series and has won many IndyCar championships with many drivers. And they currently have multiple drivers on their team, including Romain Grosjean, Colton Herta, and Devlin DeFrancesco. Now, Michael Andretti stated not too long ago when they were trying to acquire a deal to get into Formula One, Michael Andretti had stated that he was actually interested in coming into NASCAR. Now, one thing to note is back about 10 or 11 years ago in the year 2012 when Dodge had rumored to have a next-gen car, a Gen 6 car ready to go. And they actually were supposed to be in the Cup Series in 2013. And at the time, there were two drivers who almost drive that car. The two drivers were Kurt Busch, who did not have a deal with any team in 2013 before he joined Thrift Racing, and Matt Kenseth were the two drivers who were most likely to drive for that team at Andretti Autosport in 2013. That is one of the big reasons why Kurt Busch drove for Andretti Autosport in the 2014 Indianapolis 500, is because of the fact that he had that deal to drive for Andretti at the time, but unfortunately that deal fell through. Now, obviously, Michael Andretti has a lot of assets, and Andretti Autosport is in a lot of different other motorsports, and like I said, we do know that Andretti Autosport has been trying to get the Formula One, but they've had a hard time getting to Formula One as a lot of the people in Formula higher-ups have had a hard time dealing with it in the FIA, and they're trying to basically increase the entry fee to get in. Even though the Concord agreement says they get spanned from 10 to 13 teams, a lot of teams do not want Andretti Autosport coming into there. Well, I think NASCAR, while it is hard to get in, a lot of team owners would be welcome with open arms to bring Andretti Autosport in. They would have an easier time. They could probably pick up some drivers to drive for the team, or they could bring Romain Grosjean or Colton Herta into the Andretti Autosport group in the Cup Series. It'd be very interesting. I think the chances are decent for sure, and I think Andretti could somehow, in some shape or form, make a jump into NASCAR in the near future. And the final team that could join the Cup Series in 2024 or in the near future is a team that's been talking about jumping into NASCAR, and that is 3F Racing. Now, 3F Racing is a team that was announced in late 2022. They were going to make their debut in 2023. They initially had planned to make their debut at Atlanta, but they kind of stopped doing that at the time. Now, 3F Racing, we do know at this point they're a team that has been in conversations and talks about trying to get in. They've had a hard time getting in due to reasons, and I hope that this team can make the jump in the NASCAR in the future. And I do believe that this team will run in the near future. Will it be 2023? I don't know, but I think 2024 is definitely very, very possible that they join. But I think 3F Racing does have a good chance, a very strong possibility, and I think they've got a really strong opportunity to potentially join the NASCAR Cup Series. I think the chances are very, very high they join Cup, whether it's this year or next year. So, those are the teams that could join the Cup Series in 2024. Who are the most likely? Well, I think there's 2 or 3 on here that could be in Cup in the near future. First one is a team that's, like I said, trying to get in there, and that is 3F Racing. 3F has a next-gen car ready to go, and they are available to start working on them, and they could join. The next team is the most likely team with money, and that's Junior Motorsports. Junior Motorsports, their team has been trying to get the Cup. They got acquired charter, but I think they're the second most likely to join. The final team I would mention is probably Chip Ganassi Racing. Chip Ganassi Racing is a former Cup team, had a lot of success, competed for championships, and competed for wins. I think the chances are really, really high of these teams coming into play, and I think the chances of them joining the Cup Series are pretty high. So, that is going to be our today's special video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on if I win a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link description below with that, and comment your thoughts below on today's video. What teams do you think will join the Cup Series in the near future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we'll have a double upload day on the channel. We're probably going to have a NASCAR news and motorsports news video on the channel, followed by, of course, the Truck Series race picks for Nashville. Then tomorrow, and Tuesday, I should say, we'll have the Xfinity Series race picks for Nashville, along with potentially a special video or a NASCAR news video. Then on Wednesday, be a NASCAR news video, followed by, of course, maybe something else on the channel. And then on Thursday, we're going to have race picks for the Cup race in Nashville. And then this upcoming weekend, NASCAR is back. We'll talk maybe about NBC on Tuesday. I'm not entirely sure. And my excitement around the broadcast as well. We'll talk about all of that this upcoming week. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.